Hello everyone, welcome back to our podcast series of IBS Dehradun. Today we have the Director Sir of our IBS Dehradun, which is Dr. Santanu Roy Sir. So Sir, I would like to know about your journey, your whole career, how it been started and how you are planning it, and like a past story of yours.
Thank you for this podcast. I am from Delhi. I'm basically from Delhi. And my undergraduation was from IIT Delhi. I was an IIT Delhi student from 1975 to 1980. After graduating from IIT Delhi, I was a hostel there, of course, though I was a resident of IIT, but then IIT has a rule that you have to stay in the hostel, and that gave me a different insight into the way things work. And then I was a junior research fellow, and then I joined CSIR, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, as a scientist. And I was there for a long period. I was posted in Delhi. I was there for a long period for 22 and a half years. Scientist in CSIR at different levels, right from scientist B, C, E1, E2 and F level at a higher level. And I was also heading the human resource unit of my institute. So while working for CSIR, we were working in the technology development and management aspects. I did my PhD in industrial engineering from IIT Kharagpur. And that's how I did that. So it was while working with CSIR, I did my PhD also from IIT Kharagpur. Now while working for CSIR, I was closely in touch with the industry, and I was consulting with different companies in India and also with international bodies. So we did projects for UNDP, TANIDA, UNESCO on different aspects of technology development. I was also part of Indian team which developed the new way of doing intellectual property under the leadership of Dr. R.A. Mashelkar, and when Dr. Manmohan Singh was our Prime Minister, so those days. And and then of course after I completed my PhD journey, and of course I was still working with CSIR, my academic career, that means teaching career, started from IIT Kharagpur. I was a faculty at Vinod Gupta School of Management, IIT Kharagpur. I joined there, and then of course after serving there for 3 years, I took voluntary retirement from Government of India service because my family was in Delhi and I was working in Kharagpur, so I came back to Delhi. I joined Institute of Management Technology, Ghaziabad, as a professor in 2008 and continued from there. In 2012, I got transferred to Institute of Management Technology, Dubai. I'm basically, my expertise is in supply chain logistics, project management, technology management, they are the areas. So I was heading the dual country program of IIT Ghaziabad and Dubai, and also heading the MBA unit there. And while working, one of the reasons why I shifted to Dubai was my close association with the international logistics industry. Dubai is a big port, one of the largest ports in the Middle East, and North Africa is Dubai port, which is run by DP World. And I closely worked with them, and I was consulting with 3 companies in Dubai. One is the Landmark Group, one is Choitrams, and the third one is of course Reddington Gulf, FZE. And I was working with them on warehouse management, inventory management, supply chain, logistics, as well as blockchain technology. How does it apply to logistics and supply chain and international logistics? And during COVID times, I had no choice because my family was in India and I was in Dubai. I had to come back to India. I rejoined IIT Ghaziabad. And then, after a while, I shifted to Dehradun. I was the Dean of School of Management at IMS Unison University in Dehradun. And then I shifted to Calcutta. I was the Dean of School of Business and Economics at Adamas University, Calcutta. And then I joined ICFI Business School, Dehradun, as the Director of the Business School in 2023. So this has been my journey in short. And of course, I've been closely working with the industry for long. In India, I have been consulting with ONGC on project management, CPWD on project management, and Hindalco Industries in Renukut on different aspects of logistics and inventory management and operations management, procurement management.
Sir, we can say that you have like world tour or like India tour, we can say, like traveling from here and then. So it might have gained you lots of knowledge and lots of experience in that. So, sir, I would like to elaborate the more part when you joined the IBS Dehradun. Like, how was your journey over here? How
Calcutta. Before that, of course, I was heading the business school in
Yes.
Dubai as well. So, it's basically the interest of any business school, for example, is to get along very well with the industries. See, business education is unlike any other education, especially masters in business education, MBA program. It is unlike any other education. In other educations, you can study from the books and well graduate out and you can get a job. In business education is you have to go out of your books. So of
Yes.
course, book knowledge is very important,
Of course.
but book knowledge is not good enough. You have to know what is happening outside, what is happening in the world, how the world is changing, how the business dynamics are changing. And going forward, for example, when our faculty members start consulting with the industry, like I was doing earlier, and relate to the industry, the way they are functioning, have industrial visits, have visits to the places and finding out how things work there, how operations actually happen, how marketing actually happens in different places, how human resource functions actually take place in different industrial domains. So service industries, for example, are very different, like how to manage a hospital, how to manage a hotel is very different from how to manage an industrial plant.
Yes,
like the Maruti Suzuki plant where I was associated with them. I've been associated with many companies in different times. So for example, how Maruti was competing with Honda, which first came here, and then Hyundai companies and all, they had a tough time and they innovated themselves. How Japan came up from behind in the domain of automobile industry. US was dominating before Japan came. Then of course US cars were bigger cars, and Japan came out with smaller cars, and they had a much domination in these countries of Asia and
Yes.
Middle East and Southeast Asia, and where the demand for smaller cars were much more than the demand for smaller cars in US. And the thing is, yes, you have to know about your customers. In business, there is no free lunch. I keep on telling my students, nobody gives anything free. If somebody gives anything free, that means there is an inner story behind it. Discounts. Oh, this company is giving a discount, so I should go and buy it. The company is giving a discount because there is a reason for that. Nobody gives a discount because he wants to give you a free. No, it's not a free ride. He has a reason to give you a discount because he must have some stock which is left unsold, and he wants to get some money out of that. Because as long as you don't sustain yourself in business, you don't survive in business. And you cannot sustain in business till you know how to get your revenues out, and your costing should be less than your revenues. So I'll give you some instances from my work in the past with different industries to illustrate this point.
Sure, sir.
So let's say that I was working with a telecommunications company where I was in Dubai, and that company is in Saudi Arabia. Now that company is in telecommunications domain, and they were losing customers. Now in business domain, when you lose customers, technically it is called customer churn.
Okay.
The customers were leaving this company, and the company requested me to find out why they are leaving us. What is the reason that why should a customer who has been working with us, and it's a subscription based industry. See, the telecommunication industry is not a product industry where you can buy a product and survive. No, it's a subscription based, which basically means customers stay with you for years and years. And therefore your business comes not from one day of sale, but a year long sale and years of sale. So losing a customer means a big thing for us. And therefore we studied that and we tried to explore the thing why that company, the telecommunications firm in Saudi Arabia, was losing the customers. Because see, most of the companies, in fact many of the companies I've observed, make this mistake. They look for new customers, forgetting their old customers. This is the biggest mistake you'll make.
Okay.
If your old customers stay, then your new customers will be there. If your customers are not staying, new customers will not be there. New customers come because there are customers who are with you, who have been your customers for long, and they are staying with you. And those customers spread good words about you, good values, and the thing that the word of mouth spreading and different ways of, now there is of course word of mouth, and of course now there is EWM, which is electronic word of mouth, that is spreading so fast through social medias and all that. So it's very important that you retain your customers. So our challenge in that exercise was to find out the reasons why a customer which has been there with the company for long decided to leave that company. And we of course investigated. Of course I cannot share the details of why, what we observed. The fact remains that this is the challenge industry faces. You lose your customers because you forget your old customers and try to look for new customers all the time. This was one of the reasons, not the only reason, one of the reasons the company was facing, because if your old customers go, your word of mouth spreads that they don't value your old customers, and that's not something. The second important point we realized was that if your employees are happy, the customers will be happy. You can't make your customers happy if your employees are unhappy with you. Happy employees create happy customers and retain those customers, and customer retention is very critical in business.
So sir, this example sets in like a statement where theoretical knowledge is necessary for our studies, but we need to gain more practical knowledge to get into the base of it or core of it. So in IBS Dehradun, how does faculty make sure that theoretical knowledge is also practical in the life?
So here I request my faculty members who are teaching in different courses, and of course I do in my courses as well, that we try to relate your subject to what is happening outside.
Okay.
Try to always connect with the world outside. Try to look out and find out, okay, it's not, of course, teaching from case studies, of course, very important. Case studies and all that,
yes,
you must be very important, because what is happening outside, how does it relate to that? So, for example, I teach, I'll take my example again.
Sure.
I teach mostly elective courses. So one of the courses I teach is project management, and I've been working with Delhi Metro for long, and I was there. Now, I give my example. So how when I was interacting with Mr. Sridharan, who was the head of Delhi Metro, and who was brought in to function as the head of Delhi Metro after he served very well and championed the project of Konkan Railway, which is an excellent project which was in the Western Ghats. So when he was brought in Delhi Metro, what are the changes? I mean, the way government projects were happening in India, and he changed the way government projects function in India. So that interaction of working with them, I try to impart. So when I teach project management, I go back to my days and I tell me people, okay, so for example, when you are bidding for a project, how does company bid for a project? Companies bid for a project not because I want to win many projects. But winning projects and not delivering on time, on schedule and on quality will mean you lose reputation. And if you lose reputation, then of course you will not survive long, which means you will not get many projects. So everything comes sustainability, whether it's in project management, whether it's in marketing, whether it's in HR domain. So if you're not hiring the right people for the right job, for example, to head the right positions. Worst thing, I just quote one instance from Sridharan's sir's quote. He used to tell me, in business, there are no friends, there are no brothers and sisters. You don't employ a friend, you don't employ a brother and sister because he's your brother or your sister, or he's your friend. You employ somebody in a particular role because he or she is the one most suited to do that job. So hiring the right person to do the right job at the right time is the most critical job of HR professional. And another important point is HR is training and development. So hiring is not enough, because our business dynamics are changing and people have to learn new things every time, new ways of doing business, new way of modeling, new way of learning how the techniques work. You have to keep on investing in people, train them in the domains they have to go the expertise. The way business used to happen earlier is no longer happening. So we used to have a company like Kodak. The Kodak company was the biggest company in the camera manufacturing, but then camera became from SLR to DSLR, digital SLR. Many companies which were doing very good in normal camera companies went out of business, because digital technology is very different.
So it's nice to see that most of the faculties are into the converting the theoretical knowledge into the practical knowledge. So it's great to hear this. Sir, as you said, the practicality. So I would like to elaborate, is there any kind of internship or anything which student pursue before going to the placement or anything to get the practical knowledge?
Absolutely. Very good question. See, most of our students are freshers. They're not, people don't have work experience. But what I also realize that, let's say from my experience of working here and other places, many of the students have a work experience, for example, if they have a family business, but they are scared of talking about it. I keep on telling my students, if you have a family business and you have seen that business right from your childhood, you have worked in that environment, you have seen your family growing, you have some ideas about it, you have some concepts about it. So it is not that everybody is a fresher. Some people have an outlook, like there are maybe not that family, but close family members and others. So either you are a fresher or you have some idea about this thing. But in any case, internships are very, very critical, because internship gives you the first practical opportunity of working out with a firm and making sure that, see, you have been many of us have been a pampered past, which
Yes.
you are in a in your home, and you are the my daughter, my son, and okay, he is the best person, okay, he cannot suffer. Now some of the
course.
parents sometimes are scared of sending their students out. Okay, what food they will have, how will they this thing and all. That's not right. I will keep on telling the parents whom I interact, send your child out. My two of my daughters, they have been traveling all around. I have traveled all around the world. Like for example, I'll just give you my instance. I got a chance, I was an Erasmus Mundus teaching fellow of European Commission, and I was teaching in Fontys University of Applied Sciences in Netherlands, in Eindhoven. And I was teaching logistics management there. Now when my family said, okay, you're going there, I said, no problem. So it is always like, I have got best paper awards in one conference in Dublin, another conference in Cape Town in South Africa.
It's great.
I got the best operations management faculty in an event in Singapore, because I've traveled all over the world. See, it is good to expose yourself to the outside world.
Sir.
And I keep on telling my students, go out, explore industries. So internships gives you an opportunity to explore the industries. Now, for the first time, when you enter a company, you have an employee code and nobody knows you. You have just an employee code. You are working in the company as if like, and you are all the suddenly pampering and all suddenly vanishes. Nobody is looking at you like you are my pampered child. That's a great learning for you. You said in the world you have to survive. That's great learning. So one thing is knowing how the industry works, how you should shape yourself, and second thing is knowing that your work is what you deliver to the company, and that's very important.
Yes,
I
of
can
course.
survive in any company if I can deliver.
Sir, even I agree to your point, as you said, like to be away from the parents to learn new things. Even when I was coming here, earlier my parents were not agree, like don't go, how will you do? Now when they see me and when they talk with me, they're like, we are proud of you that you are doing things.
Yes.
And I completely agree. It's not like parents pampering, they care about it, but for our career we need to go ahead.
Yes.
Sir, as you said about the internship part and the practicality thing, sir, is there any world exposure given to the student, like international exposure?
See, it has started now. We have first time in IBS Dehradun history, rather the IBS campuses have been going. So team of our students have now, today they have reached Dubai.
Oh, that's
And
nice.
they are going to Dubai and have an exposure of Dubai, Abu Dhabi, the UAE trip. And so they will be having two kinds of things. One is the exposure, of course, the industrial exposure, visiting industries. They will be visiting 2 universities to carry out 2 certificate programs, as well as see the place. So it is not only knowing how different countries and how the people in different countries work, because since I have lived there, I know that there is a difference. See, the way you talk to people, the way you behave, it's not the same everywhere. Every country has a different challenge. So you can't put a finger there in Dubai. You can't point out things like that. They'll take it very, very. It's not accepted.
It's new
You
thing
can't
which
you can't look at somebody's baby without the permission of the parent. Here we see some baby outside. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that different countries have a different way of treating their different culture, and you must accept that culture. You must know how to behave yourself during the Ramadan period over there. People don't have food throughout the day, and you must know how to respect that principle.
Yes.
We don't see that. So the question is to know that when you are going on a different exposure, when you are going to Japan, it's a very different experience. When you go to US, it's a different experience. When you go to Europe, it's a different experience.
Yes,
So traveling to different countries gives you that exposure, and knowing to know different people. For example, even in India, it's not the same thing. If you go to South India, I don't agree with South India. South India, people who are in South India know. Kerala is so different from Andhra Pradesh. I mean, people confuse. South Indian hai. It doesn't mean anything. somebody who is in Kerala is so different from somebody who is even in Tamil Nadu. My first exposure when I was in IIT Delhi was in a village very close to Uti in Tamil Nadu, and those days Tamil Nadu people did not know Hindi at all. These days they start speaking Hindi. Those days Hindi was not known. I survived there in a village because I was working with a company in a project there. I survived. I used to watch Tamil movies, and I used to see Malaysia Vasudevan and Three Sushila's songs. I used to go and listen to them in Dubai Summer Festival. Uti Summer Festival. The thing is, you should respect cultures, the way people behave in different countries, different parts of the country. Even in our country, it's such a beautiful country. You go to northeast, you go to northwest, you go to different parts. So different.
So like I would clearly agree to this part, because when I came to IBS Dehradun at the beginning, like all of us were from different state, even in the same state we are in the different parts, and it created lots of cultural differences. When I meet some of my South Indian friends, like they are from same state but they have lots of differences, and to learn them, to respect them, it's very great thing.
Absolutely.
I agree, sir.
Absolutely.
Sir, coming back to IBS Dehradun, like how are the alumni of this college and where are they placed, or what is the exposure they are getting from the
So the
IBS?
first thing is, yes, the first learning is of course industrial exposure in the internship. So I expect and I request all my students to actually pay very serious attention to that, so that they learn how to survive in a company, how to work in a company, how to contribute to the company. And there are cases where if you do a very good job in a company, very good internship in a company, the company knows your work. And your internship, our internship is for a long period. It's not 1 or 2 months, it's longer period. And if the company knows your work, they're going to give you a PPO, which is pre-placement offers. You don't have to look for a job outside.
Okay.
And that's a great achievement. So first thing is that. So learn that when you are getting an exposure in a company and you are behaving like a company employee first time in your life, like an employee, like any other employee in the company, how to go, how to dress, how to have the timing important, how to make sure that when you go for a meeting at 3 o'clock, it means 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock does not mean I reach at 3:10 or 3:15. No, in many companies 3 means 3. And when you go out of India, for example, I was talking about my travel to Netherlands. They had called me a meeting at 3 o'clock, I reached at 3:20. They said, no, meeting is over. I said, lesson learned. The first thing is lesson learned. I will never make this mistake again. I realized that what used to happen is not going to happen ever again. I picked up that thing, and so learning is, you know, learn every time when you are getting exposed to outside. So many of our alumni have done wonderful job. So Sulaiman is the head of Bank of Baroda in Dehradun, and he is our 2009 alumni. Another of our alumni is Ritesh Riman, who was 2013 alumni of IBS Dehradun, and he has his own company and Invested Planet, who has created his own company. So different alumni, some of them become entrepreneurs, some of them become champions in different industries. They have done wonderful work, and linking up with them is a great learning for our students. So I always encourage my students to reach out to the alumni, so that they know that, okay, when you go out into the industry and when you're working with them, what are the challenges you're going to face. And this is a great learning for all of us.
So it is a great to hear, like still the director knows our name. The student who are listening to us will be so proud that even teachers and faculty still remember us after since long time, like 10-15 years, and it's very great. Sir, I would like to know more about your personal life, sir. It's like most of the students like to know, like where are you from, where you basically come, because sir, you have lots of experience in different states and. So sir, basically, if you are from Calcutta, how is your wife? Like, is she like, where are you? We are
okay. So let me clarify this point. I am a Bengali. I'm from Delhi. I'm not a. It's like Bengali. It's called Provashi Bengali. So basically, I'm a Bengali from Delhi. And my schooling was in Delhi, my education was in IIT Delhi, as I already told you. And when I was working in CSI, it was in Delhi only. So basically, I've lived over there for a long period. And I have 2 daughters. My wife is also from, like, her husband, her father was in the army, so he moved around the world. Around the parts of country, different parts of the country, because army people, they don't stay in one place.
I agree.
And he retired as Major General. So we got married. When I got married, our father was in Jalandhar, Kent. And so I have been, like, my brother-in-law is also in the army. So, and I have 2 daughters. The elder daughter is an MD in pediatrics, and she is currently in US.
Oh,
And the
nice.
younger daughter is a master's in applied psychology from Delhi University, and she is working with a applied psychology company, which is again a US based company, and dealing with mental health. So they are clients in mostly people from US itself. The question is, yes, my wife has taken care of my daughters because I have been moving around, and yes, I am very thankful to her. And the thing is, yes, that's why when my daughter was got a chance, like you were talking about coming to Dehradun from Mumbai, when I got a chance to do an MBBS in Assam Medical College, Dibrugarh. You've never been to Dibrugarh. They said, go ahead and explore Assam. So she went to Assam and she did her
Oh, it's nice.
MBBS, and she did her MD from IGMC Shimla. So yes, going to different places gives you the chance to meet with the people, interact with the people. The work culture is different, the way of behaving is different, and that's a great learning for all of us. And even, for example, in business,
Yes.
what you can sell. I was interacting with the head of marketing of KFC a few months back. Now KFC is a big challenge. You know, KFC is a typical non-vegetarian company.
Of course.
And different parts of India, some parts there are non-vegetarians, some parts that are full of non-vegetarians. So if how does KFC expand? If you go to a large parts of Gujarat and large parts of Rajasthan and those places, no KFC outlet, because it doesn't make sense to put an outlet there. There are maybe few outlets, but not many outlets are required
Yes,
there.
sir.
Whereas if you go to Eastern India, if you go to some parts where almost everybody is non-vegetarian, because in Bengalis it's very difficult to find a vegetarian. It's not because the prehistoric past, because there was only food available was fish. So fish has become our staple diet. So everybody is a non-vegetarian in Bengal. So KFC's outlets are very many in number. So if you are in business, you should know where your customers lie, and accordingly you will distribute yourself. Accordingly you should know which sells in which countries, and where do I put my bargain there. So again, when I go to Dubai, when you find out there are so many Indians here, so there are not a lot of companies which sells Indian products over there, because there are Indian customers want to have chips, and which are not
Yes,
available
sir.
there, because Magic Masala. I'll just give you one instance. Lay's Magic Masala is one of the largest selling chips in the country. That chip is not available outside India, because in those countries they don't like the spicy food.
Yes.
This food is not spicy in other parts of the world. Now, if you like the spicy food, would like to have that chip. So there are Indian shops and outlets in Dubai, like Choitram. They actually import this kind of a chip to sell in those outlets, because there are Indian customers who go and get these chips from there. So everywhere you should know where your customers lie and feed the customers, because unless you have customers, you don't stay in business. At the end of the day, you're surviving because your customers are giving you the revenue, and you'll survive.
Yeah. Sir, I am like very keen to know, when you became a director of IBS Dehradun and you had your first class in IBS Dehradun, so what was any funny incident or any incident which you remember which you had with the students of IBS?
Again, of course, when I joined, it was middle of a term, so I could not start teaching at that time. So I started teaching for the next term, and I initiated the operations management elective, because before I joined here, there was an operations management electives floating. So I floated those electives, and I was teaching them. The first set of students, but they didn't have any seniors to fall back upon. None of the seniors had any electives in operations. So, for example, I have total quality management and project management as the first set of electives I taught to your senior, to the senior batch who have already graduated this year.
Okay.
And they were the first exposure to them. So I was saying like what are these operations elective look like and all that. Then I said, yes, every company, don't look at a company from an HR point of view or finance point of view or marketing point of view. Every company has everything. A company has HR, company has to hire people and train people and look at the people. The retention policies, the way of training them, very important. There are legal aspects to be taken care of, legal aspects of business. Company has to market its products, but marketing is not possible without selling. People do not want to sell. I said, first thing you learn is to sell. So one of my students, the first job, he got a job in Airtel. He was a student at IIT Kharagpur when I was teaching there. The first job is he got a job in Airtel, and he was posted in Varanasi. And in those days, the SIM card was not like this kind of SIM card. SIM card used to be sold from shops.
Yeah.
And his job was to go out and reach to the remote gullies of Varanasi and convince the retailers to store, retailers is the normal kirana shops, to store SIM cards of Airtel. Because people used to fill up that form and the SIM card used to be sold to them. That's very different from the way we buy SIM cards today.
Yes.
So reaching out, other of my student from IMT Ghaziabad, he is Sardaji. He got a job in Perfetti Milan, and which is an Italian company. They were to sell Italian chocolates and other things. And he got a job in Sundarbans in Bengal, who had to again convince the retailers they had to store Perfetti Milan the goods. Now he had to learn the language, he had to survive in those areas. That's a great experience you will have. Once you know how it sells, then you know how to market it. It is a misconception. You can sit in front of a computer and design how to marketing strategy. No. If you do not know how to sell a product, how to reach your customers, how to talk to your customers, how to interact with them, how can you design a marketing strategy? Basic thing about marketing is to sell.
Yes,
you should know how to sell, how to go out and talk to your customers, how to reach out to him, what does he feel. Then only you can design a marketing strategy. And that also depends upon whether you are in a product company or whether in a service company. When you go to a hospital, you go to a hotel, they have a different way of judging your service quality than getting a product done. In a product, yes, you can judge your quality of a product by different means. In services, it is very different. Your experiences may be different from my experiences. So the service people have to be because service people, when they work in a service company, are closely in working with the customers. In products, yes, you have bought your mobile. I have a watch here. I don't know which company made this watch. I know the name of the company, but which factory it was made by, who was the people who are making it. It doesn't make any difference. I go to a shop and buy my watch. When you go and stay in a hotel, you are staying in the hotel, the people who are managing the hotel are staying in the same hotel at the same time. If something happens, if there is a fire in the hotel, not only you are getting, you are inside, he is also inside. Yes. When you are in a flight, you are in the flight along with the pilot, along with the steward and the air hostess. So, and the other customers. So, your other customers make a difference in your experience when you are working in a service company. So, business dynamics are very, very dynamic and things are changing. Different ways of doing business, artificial intelligence, machine learning, virtual reality, augmented reality, blockchain, they are coming. So I call upon my students to know these technologies, because tomorrow you have no choice but to learn this and adopt in your business.
Sir, apart from the student interaction, so how is your bond with the other faculty members apart from the professional relation which you have?
Yes, it is always, it's a teamwork. We always work in a team. So we have our evening tea at 4 o'clock. All of us meet in the IBS conference hall and have our tea together. That's a set time for us. We celebrate our birthdays, we celebrate our marriage anniversaries. If of course the faculty says, of course today is marriage anniversary, otherwise we will not even come to know. I encourage, we said, come out, be open to us. So we are a family, we go out together sometimes and all that. So it is like great, how to involve yourself in the team, because teamwork is very important. See, everything works in a teamwork. In any company, you are not going to work alone, you are going to work in a team. So you might be very great yourself, but if you cannot mix with others and work as a team member, you will not survive in a company, because company works in a team.
So it's like great to hear and have lots of knowledge from you, and I will still remember. And I would like to address those students whose name you have taken. Please watch it. And sir, thank you so much for giving the valuable time to us. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. And your comparing and your asking questions were actually very professional. So you actually, yes, this is one area where you can actually grow. And why not? Why not? I mean, every line is open to all of us.
So it's our pleasure to hear this from you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.